Hi everyone, I'm Christina and I make vegan family meals, and today I'm gonna make like a tofu sheet pan dinner. I know during the pandemic we were all kind of exchanging ideas and tips how to make quick meals, and a lot of the go-to for a lot of my friends and family were sheet pans. Like we rediscovered our ovens during this time period, right? So kind of an all-in-one dish, put everything you've got on the sheet pan and throw it in the oven and kind of forget about it, right? And it's super easy. And today I'm gonna make one with kind of things I had left over in the fridge. So I'm gonna do tofu. We always have tofu on hand. We always get like the extra firm tofu or the high protein tofu. And today I had like leftover carrots I wanted to use, and a package of cauliflower that we hadn't used yet either, and like a half package of broccoli as well. So I'm gonna do a sheet pan with kind of what I had in the fridge and see how that goes. Hope it turns out good. Thanks. So to go along with our sheet pan tofu dinner, I'm also gonna put a couple of cups of rice in the rice cooker. Like we eat a lot of rice in this family, and that I found is the easiest way to make rice is in the rice cooker. I mean, I used to do it kind of 2-to-1 ratio on a pan, which works fine too if you don't have a rice cooker. But I'm gonna go ahead and do 1.5 cups of rice in our rice cooker, and then you go by the instructions on your rice cooker. Mine is, I fill it with the amount of rice I want, and then there's a level on there for how much water to add. So yeah, go by the instructions on your rice cooker, and I'm gonna use 1.5 cups of rice. That's what our family of 4 will typically use for dinner. We might have a little bit left over as well. So now that I got the rice in the rice cooker, I'm just gonna let that kind of work away on its own and get to chopping all the vegetables I had. And so remember I said I had some leftover carrots. I tend to just buy the vegetables that I know the kids will eat, or at least eat partially. And then every now and then I try to add in some that they haven't eaten already. With every dish, I try to have at least a few things on the plate that I know each child and everyone will eat, so that way things don't go to waste. So I'm just gonna chop up, kind of roughly cubed, the carrots that I have. And by no means do you have to buy pre-cut carrots. This is just what I had because I found they're easy to kind of quickly pick up for a snack as well if the kids want those. And usually if food is prepped, then it'll get eaten. If it's not prepped, it seems like more of a labor, I think, for everyone to kind of grab it as a snack. So I like to buy some things pre-cut or pre-packaged already. Okay, so then I'm just gonna cut up the remaining broccoli I had from like a previous dinner. And I like to cut the broccoli in just kind of smaller bite-sized pieces. So maybe some of these big ones, kind of cut them. And I sometimes take off the stems if it's a little bit too big as well. Okay, so then I'm gonna chop the cauliflower next. And I might not use the whole bag of cauliflower. This looks like a bit much, so I might just use half of it. And so far I have probably, this is like 1.5 cups of carrots and almost probably 2 cups of broccoli. And I'm just gonna use probably half of this bag, which is another kind of 1.5 cups, 2 cups of cauliflower as well. And I'm gonna take off the stems here as well to leave like bite-sized chunks, but just so that everything's kind of like the same size as far as the cauliflower and broccoli are concerned. Okay, so I finished chopping all the vegetables. I finished up the cauliflower, and it's I probably have about 1.5 cups of cauliflower too. So I'm gonna put this all on the sheet pan while I cut up the tofu. So I already cut my parchment paper out onto my sheet pan, and I'm gonna move the broccoli, carrots, and cauliflower onto the sheet pan. I'm just gonna spread that evenly on there. And then the tofu, you want to drain out the liquid from the package of the tofu. So I already did that. I cut out cut the packages open and drained out the liquid. And then you want to get it as dry as possible as you can. So I have a couple paper towels here. You know, there's all these fancy tools to like tofu press to get the liquid out. You can totally use those if you have those, but I'm just gonna go old school here and use paper towel to kind of press it a bit and get some of the liquid out. So I'll do this to both of them, and then I'll chop it up into like small cubes and put it on the sheet pan as well. So then I'll just I'm gonna cube the tofu into kind of not even quite an inch, maybe just a little bit smaller than an inch size cube. And for our family of 4, we can probably easily eat the 2 bricks of tofu in a dinner and maybe have a little bit for leftovers. Okay, so now that everything's chopped and I put it kind of on the sheet pan for you, I'm gonna add the seasonings and the spices to it. So I'm gonna measure how much oil I use. I do use oil in some cooking, but I do it in a like measured approach. So I'm just gonna measure out 2 tablespoons of olive oil to put in here. You don't have to put olive oil at all if you're doing the whole food plant-based. I find that sometimes, you know, it helps brown things along, but definitely you don't have to. And I've definitely done it without it before, so that's fine. So I'm gonna measure the 2 tablespoons of olive oil in there. And then everything else you really don't need to count. And then I'm gonna use some pepper. Some fresh ground black pepper. And then we use kosher salt, so you can use some kosher salt. You may find that you use a little bit more kosher salt than you may like regular table salt. It's not as salty, but so some kosher salt. And then I like to use onion granules or onion powder. I think it gives it a nice taste as well. And I'm using generously here. It's probably about a tablespoon and a half. And then I put garlic powder or garlic granules also like on every dish too. So probably another tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of garlic granules. And then lastly, soy sauce, right? And I use a low sodium soy sauce or tamari, and make sure there's no kind of wheat or anything in it. And again, I'm gonna be a little bit generous here, so I'm gonna call this probably like 2 tablespoons or maybe more of soy sauce. So once I have everything kind of in the sheet pan, then I'm gonna give it like a stir here to kind of coat everything in there. So make sure I get a little bit of all the seasonings on the broccoli, the carrots, the cauliflower. And I've done this with just peppers and onions and tofu as well, if that's all I had in the pantry that day. Or Brussels sprouts. The kids really love Brussels sprouts, so that's another one. Brussels sprouts, tofu, and broccoli. Kind of whatever I have in the fridge that day. So this is ready, and I'm gonna put it in the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. And I preset my oven to 400, and then I usually put it in for about 20 minutes, give it a stir, and then kind of time it from there if I want to leave it in another 5 to 10 minutes. But I usually average about 25 to 30 minutes in there. So I'm going to put this in the oven, and then I'll check it at 20, give it a stir. So the sheet pan meal is something I like to do for the family, like during the week when we're super busy trying to run kind of to and from practice, or people have meetings during the week. You know, my husband or I on volunteer groups, you know, if we have a meeting during the week, you know, that's at 7. or 7:30, and so we're trying to make dinner ahead of time, and the sheet pan is like a go-to option for those type of nights when you want to just like throw something out together and kind of forget about it for a while you're doing something else or multitasking. So it's definitely been clutch during the pandemic when everyone's at home to have those options, right, for something easy to do during the week, as well as the rice cooker as well. Not only can you make the rice and have that cooking while you're doing something else, but we also made quinoa in there or other grains in the rice. Okay, so I just took our sheet pan out of the oven. It's like bubbling hot here. I did leave it in for the full 30 minutes so it could get a little bit toastier. And I plated up some of our rice already, so I will add some of our sheet pan tofu to the bowl as well. You can see some of the tofu got a little bit crispy brown, and the veggies all got nice and toasty as well. So this is our weeknight sheet pan dinner that you can use with whatever you have in your fridge. In this case, we have tofu and carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, and threw that in together to make a nice sheet pan dinner for those busy weeknights that you have. Hope you enjoy, and if you like this video, please go and like and subscribe. Thank you to our channel.